welcome to the Worry Questions. This is a series where we imagine, just for a moment, that Jesus is standing here face to face with us, and we're able to talk to him about the worries that we have and what he might say. In my opinion, based on what I see in the Gospels, he would ask you a question. And one of the questions we're going to examine comes right here from one of the Gospels that we're going to look at. In Luke chapter 12, verse 25 through 26, it says, which of you, and this is an important one, pay attention to this question, which of you by being anxious can add a single hour to the span of his life? If then you are not able to do a small thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? This comes, of course, from Luke chapter 12, verse 25 through 26. And what's interesting about this is he's asking the question, okay, so you're worried, you're anxious, right? Is it adding anything? I mean, that's the question right now. I want you to picture Jesus here, and I want you to imagine him saying to you, the worries, the fears, the constant dreadful thoughts that you're entertaining, are they adding anything? Because really, in this time when he's speaking, the biggest fear was, how do we stay alive, right? I mean, being able to stay alive is a big deal. And he says all the worrying you do, it's not going to add a single hour to your life. It's not going to add a single bit to your stature. In fact, it's going to cause you to be dreadful in the time that you are alive. That's why the worry questions are so important. Most of us, what we do when we worry is we're trying to solve a problem that's unsolvable. And that's what a lot of us do. In fact, Pastor Mike and I have a bit of a saying, and it goes like this. If it's a problem that we can solve, meaning let's say we're dealing with a problem at the church that we have to kind of brainstorm and get some ideas on paper, we're going to obsess about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to, bounce it off of each other. The elders, when we have an idea about things, we talk about things, we vibe about things. When they were talking about putting the food bank together, Pastor Gary, Pastor Ron, they were talking about different ideas. Chuck, Pastor Chuck, they all came together. They came up with this idea, all right? Well, that was a problem to solve. But let's just be honest. Most of the things that we're worried about, especially right now, we can't really solve the problem. In fact, we can't do anything about it. So I'm going to ask you that question, the same question that Jesus would ask you. And that question is this: what can you add by worrying? And he says something else here that's even a bit of a further qualifier as to why we shouldn't worry. He says, therefore don't be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Right here, sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Worry is not going to help you solve the problems of tomorrow. But what worry does is it saps the joy that you might be experiencing today. And Jesus said, if it's not adding value, which it's not, if it's not bringing you joy, which it's not, if you can't even do anything right now to control adding 1 hour to your day, worrying is just a waste of time. So I want to encourage you, whatever you're worrying about, here's how you want to break this down. If you're worried right now, ask yourself this question. Number one, is this something I could control? Let's say you're out of a job right now. Okay? If you're out of a job right now, or if you're looking for a job, so what can I do? That's a legitimate worry for sure. What can you do? Well, maybe you beat up the internet and look for jobs. Look for people that might be hiring. Look for ways that you can get on unemployment. That's a problem you can solve. But if you're sitting there and you're worried about what might happen to the economy and what might happen a month from now or a year from now, you can't control it any more than I can, any more than the people that are running things can. Therefore, don't do it. If you can't fix it, if you can't solve it, if it's not adding anything, Jesus says, don't worry about it. And I want to encourage you today to take that advice.